Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful book launch of Bridges Not Borders. And we are here to celebrate South Asian writing, and all these wonderful, wonderful contributors are here from all across the globe to celebrate this event with all of us. So we just wanted to start off with something about the project that Aisha and me have been running for the past year. Bridges Not Borders is an ACE funded project, and it's also funded by Diverse Capacities. This is a project that we've taken out into the community, and it's been a two-part project. Which one is art, so art from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, particularly truck art from Pakistan, Madhubani art from India, and Pattachitra from Bangladesh. And we've gone into schools and communities, libraries, universities, all around the Solent region, and children and adults alike have participated and created beautiful works of art, which then we showcased in an exhibition at the Portsmouth Guildhall. This was the other part of Bridges Not Borders, where we invited writers of South Asian heritage to send in short stories. I think we had, I don't know, I can't remember now, maybe 200, close to 200 people sending in their stories. So 15 were chosen to be part of this book. And Aisha is going to talk a little bit more about the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Shashmita, and welcome everyone. We're so pleased to see so many of you here. So this is our anthology, Bridges Not Borders. Shashmita and I are so very proud of this anthology, and we're so pleased to celebrate with the writers today, and to have this opportunity to showcase their writing and to talk about the wonderful writing that's happening across the globe by South Asian writers. So our anthology, as Shashmita said, was funded by Arts Council England and the Arts and Humanities Research Council here in the UK. And we opened the we asked for submissions from writers across the globe, and we had all of these submissions, and then we chose 15 writers from across the globe, from as far west as the US. And we have our US writer here today, Sudha, who, where I think in Arizona it's 7 a.m. in the morning. And we go as far east as Singapore, where Lalita is zooming in from Singapore at, is it 10 p.m. or somewhere thereabouts. So thank you very much for waking up early and staying up late, and reading for us today. So the anthology is a celebration of so many diverse South Asian voices, and the cover tells the story of the diversity of this anthology. Our writer is here, our artist is here today as well. Dina, please do turn your camera on and say hello to everybody. So what Dina did was, and I'm just going to hold this up, what Dina did was take the this phrase, "We are all one." We asked all of the writers of the anthology to share the phrase in their own language, and then Dina placed them very beautifully and artistically around this image, and that's what creates our cover for our anthology. So this event basically is to give our writers an opportunity to share their stories, for all of you to enjoy their stories. And we'll have a little bit of a competition halfway through, and then we'll have a winner from a lucky dip right at the end. So please do stay with us right to the end. So we're going to begin with our first set of writers who are here today, and Shashmita is going to introduce them.
Okay, so I'd love to introduce Chitra Iyer. Chitra is a Tamilian who grew up in army cantonments across India. She's had a 2-decade-long marketing career and has lived in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, London, and Sydney before settling in rural Punjab, where she writes fiction and non-fiction, homeschools her kids, curates the Punjab Cultural Project, and helps her husband run their boutique stud farm for thoroughbred racehorses. Something you didn't know about Chitra is she always reads newspapers and magazines back to front, often including articles themselves, starting at the end and reading to the beginning. Chitra, are you reading the end of your story now or the beginning? Over to
No,
you.
surprisingly, the very beginning. Thank you for that introduction, Susmita. And the piece that I've chosen to read today is actually comes up right at the beginning of the story, simply because of the way the story was written. I just felt it was easier to read the first part, because there's more characters in the second. So, okay, I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me. Being the first one, I'm guessing it's because my name starts with C. Okay, here we go. My story is called Pea Soup, and here we go. As I enter the neatly paved driveway of Lotus Towers, the dirt vanished on cue. Even the rain began to behave, falling neatly into waiting channels. The air gathered itself, obediently carrying the fragrances of the champa trees lining the driveway to my nose. I used my key card to let myself into Tara Devi's 15th floor apartment. I had no complaints about looking after this old woman. All I had to do was show up, check her medications, take her through a very basic physiotherapy, and listen to her occasional life lessons, which she delivered like a missionary. The rest of the time, I was free to catch up on my nursing studies and daydream undisturbed. Tara Devi usually didn't mind, and I was grateful. My survival strategy was to keep my head down as I crawled towards my goal. All I wanted was to go by unnoticed as I quietly left the slum for a proper job, a home, and maybe one day, evenings filled with the scent of champa flowers. That dream was my illicit pleasure. It was also why I didn't celebrate victories or display my school certificates with pride. You never know who it might piss off, including many of our own. Something unpleasant may result from the most unintended provocation, like waiting to be discovered for a crime I hadn't committed. Would one of gravity's many foot soldiers smell my dreams? Find a minor technicality to create a major hurdle? I'd seen it all before. Your birth certificate is wrong. Your domicile is different. The quota is all filled up. You are too young, too old, too ugly, too female, too early, too late, too poor, not poor enough. But when you must, you must. At my job interview, I presented Tara Devi with all my certificates. Her soft, plump fingers breezed through my achievements, lingering instead over the police verification and the templated character certificate for which the dean at my nursing school had made me wait 6 hours. I could see from her expression that she already felt good about being able to help me by letting me help her. My neighbor Safina, who paid an agent 2 lakhs for a job as an accountant in Dubai, wrote that it is easier there. All Indians are considered equally foreign, equally dirty here. How liberating, I had thought, to be only discriminated against because of your nationality, not the exact shade of your skin, your last name, or the crime of my aspirations. Of course, no amount of education would expunge my record, but it would make it easier to live on parole. Perhaps, maybe even be enough to one day get a passport like Safina. Tara Devi ended our interview with a commendable Dhanam that you wish to become a nurse. What inspired you? My people, I thought, had been healers, doctors, long before she could even fathom. But I only said, that it was teachers like her, women like her. I hope I didn't extend my time.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for reading an extract of your wonderful story. And we'll then move on to the next reader, who is Jyoti Seshan. Jyoti is a retired teacher of English language and literature and has taught the senior classes of Abu Dhabi Indian School in the UAE for over 2 decades. She lives in Telangana and offers private tuition to schoolgoers, for she can never have enough of teaching. And here's one bit of trivia about Jyoti. She is the queen of faux pas. Like the time during a parent-teacher meeting, she told a parent, an acquaintance of hers in the school swimming pool, "Oh my God, I didn't recognize you with your clothes on." So here you go, Jyoti.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sushmita? All right. Thank you so much. So here's my bit from Attu Eats a Mango. All right. Now was the time. Attu wandered around the stall looking casual. She adjusted her face to its most disdainful expression and cleared her throat. She picked up a plump mango and carried it to her nose and sniffed. The vendor grabbed the mango from her and swatted her hand away. "And how many kilos?" Oh no, sorry, I missed the line. The vendor grabbed the mango from her and swatted her hand away. "What are you doing, mad girl? Buying a mango, can't you see? How much?" she demanded, flicking a fly away and thrusting her chin up. "And how many kilos do you want?" asked the vendor, playing along. "Just one," she said, imitating those rich, arrogant ladies with their expansive white bellies. "Only 1 kilo?" taunted the vendor. "Give me 1 mango," she repeated. "If it is sweet, I'll buy more." She spat on the ground, showing her indifference to his wares. The vendor pulled out a small mango, overripe but golden enough. He shook his head disbelievingly at the rag girl and handed it to her, stating the price for her benefit. "So much for such a small mango? You think I'm a fool?" said Attu. "Oh, not at all," drawled the vendor. "You've been buying mangoes all your life. Give me the money and take the mango." "I want a bigger one, not this." Attu showed him her 3 coins. "You see, I have money." She jingled the coins happily. "Ha, you won the lottery, did you? Are you selling me a big mango or not?" "Go away, silly girl, or I'll call the police," said the man. "Give me that big one there." "Oh, that one costs as much as gold," said the vendor, curling his mustache into sharp points. She opened her palm and showed him the coins once again. "I can't give you the big one for just 3 coins. You have to give me at least 5 rupees for it," said the vendor, turning away from the girl, but not before adding condescendingly, "You can have that small one if you like." "I want that big one," insisted Attu, and wondered how much 5 rupees was. "Go to school, chokri, and learn to count. Stop bothering me now." At that moment, the tea vendor, who walked around with a flask and small disposable cups, turned up and briskly offered him a cup of hot tea, which the vendor sipped, leaning forward and holding the cup away from his body. Attu saw her chance and, throwing the coins at him, grabbed a big fruit and ran down the street as fast as she could. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jyoti. And I'm so glad that Attu could finally taste the mango. So let's move on to Lalita Ramanathan. Lalita is from Kerala, India, and lives in Singapore with her family. She has published articles with blogging sites, and her stories have featured in anthologies, magazines, and newspapers. She has also received awards from different online platforms. She loves to read, play the violin, and design rangolis while plotting her next story. And here's an interesting fact about Lalita. She is obsessed with creating lists, grocery shopping, literary submissions, books to be returned to the library, you name it, there will be a list somewhere. So here you are, Lalita. Let's hear your story.
Thank you. Hi, I'm reading from my story, The God on the Other Side of the Wall. The shimmery pink flag twirled in the breeze and landed in Mia's yard, oblivious to the chaos it was about to unleash. Mia discovered the entangled piece of silk while squeezing back through a gap in the hedge between her yard and that of her best friend Ruby. She raced home with the pink flag wrapped around her wrist like a corsage. I will put up this pretty flag outside Gree's altar at home. The pink will be a pleasant change. He must be bored of the violet festoons adorning his shrine. Mia skipped merrily towards the marble shrine. The air was rich with incense and the scent of flowers. Granny was immersed in prayer, offering violet stalks to Gree. Child, what is that on your wrist? I found this near the hedge. Can we keep it? Granny's face darkened and her brows furrowed with irritation. Of course not. Pink is the symbol of jade, the god our meddlesome neighbors revere. Gree's color is violet. But Granny, why do you dislike this flag? Granny gasped. Child, don't you see? A pink prayer flag. Our neighbors are trying to influence us. You're too young to understand this. Just stay away from them. But Ruby is my best friend. Do as you're told, snapped Granny, snatching the pink flag from Mia. Why is Granny being so mean? She used to love Uncle and Auntie. She'd call them the best neighbors ever. Even before the finding of the flag, things had started to sour. Mia frowned, trying to remember the exact events that had led to the fallout. It had been Ruby's birthday a month ago, and they were invited. Mia wrapped gifts, wore a frock, and attended the party accompanied by Granny. Auntie tried to switch on some music. When the radio came to life, not music, but news of a war in a distant land blared. Mia knew that war was bad, but at least it was happening far away, not here. The reporter mentioned that Gree's devotees were fighting Jay's followers over a disputed land. The radio was hastily switched off, but the damage was done. Granny remarked loudly that the Jay worshippers were at fault. Uncle and Auntie protested. Mia watched the volley of words with dismay. Ruby burst into tears. All they had wanted to do was to play, eat cake, and sing birthday songs. We must leave, thundered Granny. But we haven't cut the cake yet, protested Mia. Granny dragged her home. From that day onwards, a wedge was driven. The warmth and the camaraderie vanished overnight. Mia hoped the adults would realize that they were being silly. Why can't everyone apologize and make up? Saying sorry is not such a big deal. It's easier than hating someone. She folded her palms and begged Gree, please, can you and Jay become best friends? Then things can go back to before. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lalita. And before you go, Ram has just shared some news that Lalita has won the Platinum Story of the Year in the India Film Project's 50-hour writing challenge. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ram.
That's awesome. So we'll talk about that later when we have time. You can tell us
Sure.
what it's all about. But we'll go on to the next reader, who is Manisha Sahu from Odisha, India. And Manisha has a bachelor's degree in engineering and a master's in English, and is currently working on a high fantasy novel. Her work has appeared and are set to appear in Inked in Grey, Apparition Lit, Sylvia Magazine, Atticus Review, Amity, Noctivagant Press, and others. Most people don't know this about Manisha, but she likes sketching maps and layouts for her stories, especially when they are based in imaginary worlds. She draws the characters and their outfits too from time to time. So over to you, Manisha.
Thank you, Shushmita. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll start reading now. Yellowed pages and dinner rolls. All in all, it took us a box and a half to pack them. My brother and I had hoarded every edition we could lay our hands on. Chacha Chaudhary, Billu, Pinky, Srimati Ji, Phantom, He-Man, and whatnot. I was certain I had not yet read every single one of them. Their pages were rough, the once white borders and segments of illustrations had yellowed. A few editions had been massacred during tugs of war between my brother and I when we could not decide who should read them first. We were in a happy bubble for over an hour, and when it burst, we saw the chaos outside our room. Everything was out of the cupboards and arranged on the floor, on the dining table and its chairs. Papa had switched companies, and we had to shift out of Bhiwadi. Packing for it had seemed fun until now. Why were there so many things in our house? Where would they even go? Who could possibly have enough boxes to spare for all of that? My brother, 16 then, pulled me back into the room and we stood in silence, looking from the neatly packed comic books to the open cupboards bursting with our clothes, school books, and other knickknacks, and back to those illustrated works of genius. And we knew we could not bring them along with us, not all of them. It was a quiet affair from then on, packing and moving. Neither of us spoke about the hole in our possessions, nor how we kept thinking we did not get a chance to glance through those pages one last time. My mind was riddled and scarred with the devastating image of those pages possibly being rolled into cones and used as packaging for roadside snacks. Even a generous helping of butter chicken could not lift our moods as a family of four huddled on the floor amidst the towers of boxes and had takeout dinner from Hilltop Restaurant for the last time. Over the years, I forgot about the whole ordeal. In fact, I would have considered it idiotic to have made such a big fuss. After all, paper was recyclable and comic books were far too abundant in our world, easy to find on the internet, if you wanted to look up. I never did. We had started a new collection in the new home, but it was soon left to fend for itself because schoolwork, college, and then just life in general took over every essential minute and hour. More importantly, my brother cut off ties with us once he finished college. And since collecting comic books was something I did with him, I stopped.
Thank you. Thank you, Manisha. And really interesting story. I hope you all are doing so well, reading some amazing, extracts from your stories, which makes us want to read them again. So thank you so much. And the next reader is Nandita. And Nandita is a freelance writer and communications professional. Her work has appeared in the Himalayan Writing Retreat blog, Tint Journal, Transience Mag, Reflections, Live, Hotpot Magazine, Bitter Melon Review, Indian Review, and Outland Magazine. She loves audiobooks, working out, dessert, and chronicling her family life and adventures on her phone. She lives in Mumbai with her son and her husband. So here's a weird fact about Nandita. She hates the sunlight on weekdays. She's been so used to cold, hard white office lighting during weekdays for so long that when she started working from home, she would draw all the curtains and switch on the artificial lights. Not surprisingly, her son calls her vampire and makes sizzling noises when he comes home from school and pulls the curtains apart. So, Nandita, where are you? Not hiding behind any curtains, I hope. There you are. Okay.
No. Hi, audible?
Yes.
But
Go.
it's night time now. All the artificial lights are on. I'm like totally in my element. So thanks, guys. My story is called Teen Tal, and here goes the excerpt. There's a lesson in Bhav Ang. Apsara mutters under her breath. The emotive, expressive part of dance. Guruji never stops reminding me, both with his face and words. In Kathak, face work is as important as footwork. She's momentarily distracted by the shadows of her classmates against parallel lines. As golden hour sunlight filters through the slatted blinds, her own eyes beginning to dance. The ghungroos can't help but announce themselves. Brass bells strung in one long cord, which has to be looped round and round your ankle till it is almost halfway up to your calf. The higher the number of bells that you can manage, the more proficient, talented, and senior you are. They jangle hard and discordant as she unpacks and puts it on. Ghungroos ringing outside the bars of the sarangi is just noise. Students are in various stages of readiness on the raised part of the classroom, matching the beats of the tabla, and everyone bristles in her general direction. Ha! I can't hear it. Harder! Guruji shouts over the music, referring to the slap of the foot in time with the instruments. The louder it is, the more talent and passion you're thought to have. Then, hold the arm higher, reach. Did you people not have breakfast today? Then, faster. That's 16 chakkars to complete the section. You're not making time. Dha. Smile. Look at Sadhvi. She looks at her audience and smiles into their hearts. Look at her. This is why she was late. Not just because it's a mad rush to reach dance school after regular school. Just to be pitted against Sadhvi. Even though Apsara knew her own technique was superior. Almost turning away from the entrance, knowing that it was just another day of being put down, being told that she was lesser, being made to kneel, to bend, and not just in dance. You need to be taken down a few pegs, he often said. You have too much pride. An artist needs to cultivate humility. Why this accord, this arrogance, he would say at other times, pointing to her erect, regal bearing, almost in childlike glee of her squirming. You have to bow, to surrender, to be able to learn art. Yes, almost quitting for just one day, for the relief of her face not being rubbed in the talentless, graceless hell of being less than Sadhvi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nandita. And I'm glad you enjoyed reading it. You can see that you were enjoying it, so that's great. Okay, so we're going to have one more reader, and then we'll have a short break where we're going to do something which Aisha will tell you about. But here is Ramanjanaya Sharaf, an author by passion, writes on India, Indic, and women-centric themes in Kannada, English, and Hindi. He has written over 300 poems, 4 plays, several short stories, and thought pieces, which have been anthologized and published on various fora. A strategy consultant, he lives in Mumbai with his wife. One interesting fact about Ramanjanaya is that he is fluent in 5 languages and has a passable understanding of 3 more. He even tries to mimic the dialect of the person he is conversing with. Once a cabbie in Delhi confidently proclaimed the name of the village near Agra that he thought Ramanjanaya hails from when he is a Kannadiga from Bangalore. So here is Ramanjanaya.
Thank you, Susmita, for the lovely introduction. So this story is titled Myself Durges. I will read extracts from 2-3 different places. When I little, I always hungry. So I ask father, give food for eat. Father gives slap below ear. So I asked mother, give food for eat. Mother cried. Father slap is pain on face. Mother cry is pain on heart. But hungry is pain on tummy. Face pain go away, heart pain go away, but tummy pain not go away. To fill tummy, I wash taxi. Many taxi I wash. 20 taxi I wash means I get 2 rupee. I eat vada pav for 1 rupee and 50 paisa for tea. Balance I give for use latrine in the morning. Taxi people nice people. They allow me for sleep inside taxi. Diwali time, taxi driver go for village. When they go for village, they not want taxi to wash. So I not eat. Festival means whole world eat, but I not eat. Drink only water from municipal tap. For me, Diwali like that only. In 2 years, I make much money to buy own taxi. Second hand taxi only. Before I go for take taxi delivery, I go Sardarji house. I catch Sardarji feet for thank you. Sardarji wife I call Bhabiji. Bhabiji means wife of elder brother and equal to mother. Bhabiji put curd and sugar in my mouth for best of luck. She cry, happy cry. From delivery, I take taxi straight for Sardarji house. I give key to him and tell it his taxi. Because of he, I taxi owner. Otherwise, I only taxi washer. Sardarji put key in front of Vaheguru picture and tell me to do prayer. I do prayer for best of luck and much passenger always in taxi. I tell Sardarji and Bhabiji they my first passenger. Do boni for my taxi, I say. Bhabiji cry. Sardarji also cry but he man, so he not show. I take Bhabiji hand and sit her in taxi. Sardarji also sit. Sardarji say he drive taxi in Bombay full life. But first time he sit in passenger seat in taxi backside. I not rich. If I rich, I tell Sardarji he no taxi driving from today. I take care of him. But what to do? So I tell Sardarji every Sunday he a passenger in my taxi. Free passenger. Anywhere want to go, not matter. I take him free. Now Sardarji water is nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was such a unique voice of Durgesh, and you read it so well. Thank you so much. And before we sort of go on to a break, we wanted to really share with you some snippets of the project and the book launch. So we've put together a short film, which we will share with you, and you can have a look at all the stuff we got up to at the book launch and the paintings and all the artwork as well. So I'm just going to share. And if you can't hear the sound, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to play it. Okay, so that was just a little glimpse into the wonderful event we had in person. And you could see Renita there reading her story. So, Aisha, what are we
Yeah.
doing next?
Oh, it was
Oh, it's
such a
such a
pleasure to
pleasure to
watch
watch
that.
that.
Sorry, I'm
Sorry,
not
I'm
sure
not sure.
why. Can you hear me all right,
Yes,
Shashmita?
yeah, we can
I
hear
seem
you.
to be echoing for some reason, but that's fine, as long as you can hear me. Oh, that was such a pleasure. Um, and what I'd like to share is we want you to do a little bit of an activity, stretch, go and grab a drink if you want to. But also, I've just put a little activity in the chat. What we'd like you to do is share a phrase that has the same sentiment as building bridges, not borders. So that's what we did for the anthology, where we had the phrase "we are all one." So you could share a phrase in any language, or you could share another phrase in English that has the same sentiment as building bridges, not borders. So please put it in the chat, and then stay until the end, and we will pick one name or a couple of names for prizes that you'll receive. If you get picked in the lucky dip. So please do go ahead. So Renita's already got on there. Fantastic. Please add your little phrases, and we'll just take a couple of minutes just to stretch and come back to things.
And everybody is welcome to put in the phrases, not just the contributors. So guests and everyone, please put something in the chat.
Oh, I love that. Same, but different. Oh, these are gorgeous. Please keep them coming. I love that. Clearing the debris of differences. Unekta me ekta. Rama, you'll have to read that out for me. I can't read it. Do keep them coming, everyone. These are fab, Jyoti. I love that. There is no I without us. That's gorgeous. Our differences are our strengths. That's great. Mend walls, not build them. Mending the stitches. No boundary but camaraderie. That's fantastic. A similar song, meaning friend, we aren't mountains trying to rise above each other, but blue waters flowing to the same river. That's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Nandita, can you read that out for me?
So
that's
that's
yes, go ahead, please.
सभी जन एक हैं, रंग रूप वेश भाषा चाहे अनेक हैं. I'm just going to put in the translation as well.
Oh, thank you. That's brilliant. Let our different notes blend into one song. That's gorgeous, Sudha. Every brick is made of only love. I like that. Even if there is a wall, it's made of things that bring us together rather than separate us. Different notes, same song. This is lovely. Thank you. Right, do keep them coming. We're going to start again, and we have our remaining 6 writers who are going to share short extracts from their writing. And hopefully this is really getting you excited about the anthology, and that you're thinking about getting yourself a copy. Please do get in touch if you would like to purchase a copy. And someone is going to win a copy at the end of this session as well, if you put your little phrase in the chat. Shall we get going, Sushmita? All right, fantastic. Yeah. So next we have Sudha. Sudha Balagopal was raised in India and lives in the US. Her fiction straddles continents and blends cultures. She has had stories included in Best Microfiction, Best Small Fiction, Fictions, and the Wig Leaf Top 50. Her novella In Flash, Nose Ornaments, was published by Ad Hoc Fiction in 2024. An interesting bit of trivia about Sudha is that she and her husband danced together. They even choreographed pieces and performed them at their daughters' weddings. Over to you, Sudha.
Thank you so much, Aisha and Shushmita, for doing this. I'm thoroughly enjoying listening to everybody. So here's my story. The Law of Marriages. I'm scooping mango ice cream into silver dessert bowls when my daughter, Avni, sidles close. Do you like him? She asks. Her voice is pitched low, the words uneven. She winds her fingers around her ponytail while I tear a strip of paper towel to wipe off a dribble. Mom? Earlier this week, she called to say she was bringing Darren home on Saturday. Make an Indian dinner, just like we normally eat on weekends. Maybe some idli sambar? Darren's tall, with a receding hairline and a bald patch on the crown of his head. He's also at least a decade older than Avni. My heart rebels. Not this man. Not for my beautiful, talented 27-year-old. Questions brim. Why do you want me to like him? Is it because he's the one? What makes you think that? I can't ask them because she'd retort saying my one was presented to me. There was no courtship, no personal choice. My daughter and I grew up in different times. I want to tell her she could do better. Instead, I put my arms around her, say, I like him, praying that this relationship would dissipate. 2 years ago, when she brought home another beau, introduced to us in the nascent stage, they broke up. We didn't see her for a couple of months. I understood she had to clear the detritus. Later, she simply said it didn't work out. She lives in Tucson, we're in Phoenix, 140 miles away. Ajit, my husband, telegraphed his disapproval during dinner, scratching his forehead, drumming his fingers on a glass of water. After Avni and Darren leave for Tucson, he'll tell me, Sharu, we gave her the best of everything. We sent her to private college and law school for her to end up with this person? Avni carries the tray with the ice cream, chopped pistachios sprinkled on top, to the dining table. Darren's telling my husband about his enterprise. One cannot go wrong with the pool business in Arizona. Almost every home has a pool here, he says. He sounds like he's selling himself. My husband's shoulders are rounded, and he's folding and refolding the cloth napkin on his lap. And I'm going to stop there. Thank you.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Sudha. I especially love the idea of telegraphing how he's feeling through his actions. That really does come across. That's brilliant. Thank you. Next, we have Renita. Renita De Silva grew up in Kalyanpur, a small village in southwestern India. She now lives in the UK. She is the author of 12 historical novels, the most recent of which is The Secret Keeper. Her first psychological thriller, The Neighbours, won the Joff Prize in 2023. Something that isn't widely known about Renita is that she loves public transport. And please, don't hate her for this. She especially loves it if trains, buses, planes, ferries are delayed, because it means more reading time.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Aisha, and thank you for this event. It's wonderful listening to everyone, hearing them read out their stories after having read them in their own voices. It's just a different vibe. It's lovely. My story is called Eavesdropping Shamelessly, and I'm going to read from the middle of the story. I'm hungry, I say, skipping down the stairs and pausing at the kitchen doorway. Mama turns to look at me from where she's washing up at the sink. Tea will be ready soon. Have you finished your homework? Yes, Mama, I sigh. There's a knock at the door. Mama comes out of the kitchen wearing the pink spotty apron with the words Domestic Goddess printed in sunny yellow on the front that Papa gave her for Christmas. Her hands are encased in orange IKEA washing up gloves, dripping suds all over the living room carpet. The knocking gets louder, more persistent. See who it is. Leave the chain on, says Mama. I do, as she says, peering round the door. And, Daddy, I screech joyfully. A puppy yelps. I undo the chain and open the door. Daddy is hugging a grey and white ball of fur to her chest. The ball of fur stretches, jumping out of her arms and into the living room in a flurry of barks. You said you were lonely, Betty, so I got you a friend, says Daddy. Mama slaps her right hand, still in its washing up glove, over her mouth and gags at the soapy, rubbery taste, I imagine. Daddy opens the door to Papa. Beta, you look worn out. I'll make you chai with elaichi in it. That'll perk you up. I'm cooking chicken biryani and bundi raita. Much healthier than the processed food you always seem to have, made from pork intestines. Daddy makes a face. And even beef, she huffs. Ma, hello, Papa says, bending down to kiss Daddy's cheeks. What brings you to our part of town on a damp and drizzly Thursday? As I said, Papa sometimes speaks like he's a character from a book. My puppy, Dixie, who's now familiarized herself with me and the living room, starts barking furiously at the stranger who has dared enter her domain. What the? Says Papa. His perplexed gaze settles on me. Honey, what's that puppy doing here? And where's Mama? Dixie is now nipping Papa's legs while still barking madly. Shh, Dixie, that's my Papa. I gather her in my arms. Here, Papa, scratch her fur just here. She likes that. Dave, come and sit down, beta. Your chai will be ready in a minute, says Daddy. Where's your Mama, Annie? Asks Papa again, and explain the puppy. This is Dixie, I say, cuddling her. She emits a contented little growl. Daddy got her for me. Mama's upstairs in her bedroom. I pause, sulking. Oh, Ma, Papa sinks into the sofa and cradles his head in his hands. From this angle, his bald patch looks like the outline of Africa, which we are studying this term. What have you done? Upstairs, a door slams. Stop there.
That's absolutely brilliant. I can imagine Dadi is in quite a bit of trouble. Right. Thank you very much, Renita. Next, we have Sahib. Sahib Khan is a writer with an interest in philosophy and cinema. He is from Quetta, Pakistan, tells the absurd, resilient, and gutsy tales of the tribes and tribal peoples spreading across the mountains and deserts of Balochistan. He self-published his novel Surrounded by the Dark Grey Valleys in 2019. One thing you may not know about Sahib is that he is argumentative. In any political or philosophical discussion with friends, he adopts a position in contrast to theirs just to irritate them.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can definitely hear you.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So I will read two sections from my story. These two are short sections. Page 46 on the PDF file. Gul brings his dog back from an after-dinner walk and tethers it to the mulberry tree in the courtyard. His father, standing on the veranda, dials a number on his Nokia phone and holds it to his mouth as it rings on speaker. The receiver says, "Assalamu alaikum." Ghulam clutches the phone to his ear. "How are you, son? Is everything right?" Gul enters the room. His mother is busy knitting a muffler. Anna asks him who Ghulam is talking to. "To Nabi," Gul says. "Talib Jan." Anna grins and shows her teeth that are rotten to the color of brown sugar. She stands along the wall, clutches her cane, and walks out of the door while the nest of amulets swings around her sagging, wrinkled neck. Gul sits on the bed and he hears his father tell Nabi to talk to his grandmother. "Hello, hello. Ah, my son is alive," Anna says. Nabi tells her that he has become a kumandan. "What? Kumandan?" Nabi shouts. Anna doesn't understand. "Where are you?" I say, "Where are you?" Nabi answers that he is in a mosque in Kunar and the Americans lie just 100 steps behind the apple orchards. He tells her they will attack the Americans at midnight. Naida whispers a prayer under her breath. Anna talks about Quetta. She tells him that she doesn't like it here and she wants to return home. Her Talib Jan says it will happen soon as the Americans are packing their bags. "It is enough. Give me the phone." Ghulam grabs the phone from Anna's ear, saying they could be tracked. Anna protests. Ghulam cuts off the call after saying, "May God be with you, son." And then on page number 50, the police patrols in the neighborhood increase. There are reports of weapons recovered from a house at the far end of the street, and two men suspected to be Talibs are taken by their collars into the blue police pickup. Some families extend their stay for a week or two, bribing the law officials. Others have learned to hide well. The night raids are sudden and frequent, and it keeps Gul up at night, although he is wary from distributing newspapers across the city. Gul's father uses his Toyota as a taxi in the mornings and spends evenings with other Afghan immigrants at a bread shop discussing their decimated villages, the IDs blowing up out of nowhere, their animals left behind, their uncultivated lands, and complacent relatives. They also discuss making forged national identity cards for their families, but are disappointed when the patrolling car warns them through speakers to vacate even if they have Pakistani IDs. When Ghulam returns home, Anna asks him to call Nabi. He tells her he can't, fearing to be tapped and located. A while later, while eating dinner, Gul shares Gul shares the news that the Hazara cobbler in front of his shop has also vanished, and that an army captain had come to ask Munshi to close down his shop soon. Then they turn on the radio and learn that the Taliban have captured Chaman, and they have been welcomed by some and feared by others. Anna stays unusually quiet that night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very powerful. And it really makes you think about the experience of being an Afghan refugee, and really sharp sentences, really vivid. Thank you very much for that, Sahib. We're next going to go to Sri Lanka and Saku. So Saku Peiris lives in Colombo, Sri Lanka, alternating between her realities of being a full-time mother and a part-time daydreamer. She writes poetry, loves crafting short stories drawn from real life, and is in the process of writing her first novel. One bit of trivia about Saku is that she is known for talking about whatever book she's reading with anyone who will listen, much to her family's annoyance. Over to you, Saku.
Hi. Okay, you can hear me, right? Okay. So my story is called Invisible Bridges Burn the Brightest, and I'm reading somewhere from the halfway point. Okay. When Cam gets to work, he finds out that Vinu has not come to work. Around lunchtime, Vinu walks into his office, her eyes downcast, her hair messy, and her clothes rumpled. She plops down into a chair before him and immediately starts weeping. She had been in the hospital with her mother, who had swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills the night before. For more than 20 years, my father beat her up and belittled her, but she stayed. She always stayed. She always had a reason. Her tears flow nonstop, and Cam doesn't know how to respond. He remembers how Winnie lets him unburden on her and lets Vinu talk on. The moment Vinu walks out of his office, Cam calls his wife. She doesn't pick up. Panic clutches him in a steel grip. His repeated calls go unanswered. When he gets home, she has left a note that the kids are at her mother's and not to wait up for her. Cam falls asleep on the sofa and dreams fitfully. He walks down a lonely road. The sky is overcast. The air is heavy. The blackened grass by his slow treading feet crumbles into tar and falls to the ground with every footstep. At the far end of the road is a skeleton of a house. It has no roof. Sooty remnants of walls stand sentinel over piles of ash and carbon. One raindrop falls on his head. As Cam looks up, he knows that he has walked this road 1,000 times before. He starts to run. The rain starts falling in earnest. Rivulets of black water run over his shoes. He runs and runs, never reaching the house. Cam slips on the muddy road and falls to his knees. He cries for his mother. He wakes up crying for his wife, who now sleeps with the children. The following morning is shadowed by low grey clouds. He drops the children at school and circles back home. I know you're mad at me, he says to his silent wife, but I need you to come somewhere with me. She nods. They drive for a long time in silence. Cam and his wife start walking down a lonely road. Clouds are now heavy with an inevitable storm. The breeze picks up and raises goosebumps on Cam's t-shirt-clad arms. His wife shivers and grasps his hand in hers. He starts telling her about Vinu's mum. She hums and ahs in sympathy and tells him that she made them an appointment with a therapist. She has already been to see a psychiatrist, she says. I was given a little blue pill, she whispers. There is no shame in taking meds for depression, is there? She sounds unsure. He wipes the tears off her cheeks and promises to come with her to the therapist. The air is laden with black clouds, which look too heavy for the sky to carry. Cam and his wife hurry along the road to escape the oncoming rain. They take a bend in the road, hand in hand. At the far end of the road stands a spectre of a house. Its roof is caved in. Its crumbled walls are black and are covered with imprints of long forgotten flames. Cam can see the living room where his mother watched TV. He can see the tumbled down walls of the small bedroom where he killed a centipede. Cam tries to run to the house but trips and falls to his knees. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, he sobs into his wife's midsection as she holds him tight. The rain starts to fall and his tears start washing away decades worth of doubt before a small house where he was trapped as a child begins to blur in the downpour. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very powerful, and especially the relationship, how you present the relationship between the husband and wife, I think is really beautifully done. And now we have two writers to go, and we have Shehryar. So we're now going to Bangladesh. Shehryar Shams lives in Dhaka, Bangladesh. His fiction, essays, and translations have appeared in Adda, 178, Singapore Unbound, Small World City, Third Lane, and the Hooghly Review. He enjoys boxing and has served as nonfiction editor at Clinch, a martial arts-themed literary journal. One bit of trivia about Shehryar is that he loves solving crossword puzzles, but he never gets any good at it. Over to you, Shehryar.
Thank you, everybody. I hope I'm audible. I will be reading my story, A Good Mother. My mother's dutiful service to highborn Rakushas had cemented our place among them. We were barely of their caliber on our own. It was Ma, with her incomparable expertise in obstetrics, who let our foray into nobility be a fixture. She would have me along the back of instruments, dragging it behind me with all the strength I could squeeze out of my body. At their homes, seated beside the mother, who lay flat on her back on the floor, I would hand Ma the bag of chalk. I would watch her take a handful of simmering powder and spread it across the pregnant Rakusha's stomach in clean straight lines. A thin sword carved at its tip would slash open our subject's treasures in such quick that the river of blood sometimes brought dozens out together. It was my job to count heads while Ma sewed the belly shut with fresh wire. We often returned the next day to see which ones the mother had eaten and which she had decided to raise. I was raised. Ma never let me forget. Till her last days on these plains, she would holler, "You were raised." Of course, my mother's statements were invaluable in ways the children only realize after their use long expires. Some mothers are greedy, she would say, pointing at those who ate all their children after giving birth. She frowned at their kind, no matter how highborn they were. Don't mix with them, she would tell me. When the Maharani learns of their indiscretions, they will be barred from entering the Mahal. But Ma discouraged eating none. It's unnatural. I can never understand it. Giving birth to only spared them all. Surely this is a sign of disrespect, she said. A good mother only eats half her children. Thank you.
What a fantastic line to end on, Shehryar. A good mother only eats half her children. If that doesn't make you want to read the story, I don't know what will. It's brilliant. Thank you. And our final reader is Sharika Nair. Sharika Nair has authored a children's book, Tara and the Quest for the Cursed Prince. Her fiction has been published in Deccan Herald, Borderless Journal, Kitab, 101 Words, Out of Print, and several print anthologies. Sharika won the Queen Mary Wasafiri New Writing Prize in 2023 for her fiction, and she lives in Bangalore with her husband, daughter, and son. One interesting bit of trivia about Sharika is that her favorite period at school was library, and her least favorite, in brackets, hated, was PE. So she is rather proud that she not only goes for yoga class and gym at least 3 times a week now, and she even enjoys it. Over to you, Sharika.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you so much. So I will be reading from my story, E. Tomachan's first period is for 4B. There is a new student whose name gives him pause. Dinesh Kumar Singh. Where are you from? Tomachan asks the boy. Punjab. The boy shakes his head. No, sir, Uttar Pradesh. Why have you joined a month after the start of the term? The boy looks nonplussed and shrugs his shoulders. What does your father do? He is a cook in a Punjabi restaurant nearby. Tomachan nods, and after he finishes marking attendance, he starts the class. Today, we will begin with the chapter on Kriya or verb, he declares, his clear baritone ringing across the large classroom. मैं जाता हूँ, वो हंसती हैं, मैं पढ़ाता हूँ. All of these, his voice trails off when he notices the new boy raising his hand. Yes, he pauses before he recalls the boy's name. Yes, Dinesh, do you have a doubt? Sir, is the Hindi in Kottayam different from that in Uttar Pradesh? The boy asks. What? Tomachan falters. No, of course not. Hindi, our respected Rashtrabhasha, is the same everywhere. Sir, then why are you saying मैं जाता हूँ? It should be मैं जाता हूँ. You're saying it wrong. There is a loud gasp that seems to have been ripped out of the collective lungs of all 38 boys, and the class breaks into ripples of excited giggles and chatter. Tomachan feels his face redden, and he grabs the long bamboo cane lying on his table, raps the desk in the first row where Manoj and George Kutti sit, twice, sharply, before whacking Dinesh on his calf once. The class settles into fearful silence once again. Silence, he calls out needlessly. No one will disturb a teacher when class is going on. I will clear your doubts at the end of the class. Once class ends though, Tomachan quickly walks back to the staff room before any of the kids can accost him. That night, Mercy tuts when she finds him watching Hindi news on Z rather than the usual news hour in Malayalam on Asianet. Just because I'm married to a Hindi teacher, does it mean I will have to listen to Hindi news now? She demands. The kids have gone to sleep, and his mother is in her room praying the rosary, her last nighttime ritual before bed. Alone with his wife, Tomachan feels comfortable enough and worried enough to vent freely. Mercy scoffs. So what? He is just a kid, and you have done your MA in Hindi. Tomachan doesn't have words to describe the discomfort of having to hear the titters of primary school boys at his expense, the sudden but deep blow to his self-esteem that entailed, and the way he has been questioning his own competence the whole day. So he keeps quiet and keeps listening to the news, paying extra attention to the clipped pronunciation of the newsreader.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Sharika. I love the idea of 38 boys all together, that gasp of 38 boys. That's brilliant. And again, this is such a wonderful story, and so are all the others in bringing that idea, the essence of Bridges Not Borders. Every single story has that at its heart, and we're so very pleased to be able to feature all of you in this anthology. Over to you, Sushmita, to bring things to a close.
Thank you. Thanks, Aisha. And thank you, everyone who's been here, who's read these amazing stories, as well as those who have listened and given such encouraging and positive feedback and comments in the chat. So please write more comments to these wonderful writers. And as you're doing that, let me try and bring it all up onto the screen. I've been sitting here making these little tips for the raffle. So should I then go for it? Should I pick one? It's on my keyboard. You can't see it, but I promise you they're all here. And let me pick one, which is Radhika. Is Radhika here?
I think so. There is a Radhika here.
That's my sister.
Who's that? Sharika?
Sharika's sister, Radhika.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Fantastic.
so Radhika. So I will put that aside. Are we doing
Yeah, and then one more. So
one more? Okay. Okay. Radhika, give us a wave.
there she is. She says she's here.
Okay, good. And then I have Bhavya. Is Bhavya here? No?
No. If they've left, they don't get the prize.
Let me try again then. Sukhjit. Yeah, Sukhjit is here.
Fantastic.
So, Sukhjit, do you want to say something? Are you related to anybody? Any of the sisters? So,
He's a
what?
friend of ours from the writing collective,
Oh,
the Ink
fantastic.
and Quill writing collective.
Oh,
Brilliant. So, Sukhjit, if you
And
could
there's
just
5 of us from that collective who actually had stories in the anthology. So it's quite
oh,
special.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So we'll need, Suchit, if you could stay behind just at the end and share, or in a direct chat, if you could give us your details, your email address, and we'll get in touch with you to let you know how so we can find out how we can send you the prize.
yeah. Are you both, Radhika and Sukhjit, are you both in India or somewhere else? You can tell us in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I can share. Radhika is in Chennai in India.
all right.
She's not able to unmute. Yeah.
Sure, sure. No worries. So if you could send us her address, then and Sukhjit as well. Okay.
I'll let him know since he's not responding. I'll
Yeah.
message him and tell him.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I think before we all sort of go, shall we do a screenshot with
Yes.
all the
If
books?
you have the book,
Yes.
please can you hold it up if you've got it? And if we have everyone on the screen. And if you don't have the book, if you've got the book and you're a reader, please do turn your camera on and hold the book up as well. As many people as can would be wonderful.
Okay, so I'm going for it.
Anyone else with the book? I think we're just waiting on Ramanajan.
Okay, I'll take a few more.
No, I think something wrong with my camera. It's just blanking
That's
out.
all right.
Okay. All right. So I think what I'll do is just say thank you and you know, stop the recording, and then we'll say bye properly, informally. So thank you everybody for joining in and celebrating with us. We've shared the link in the chat if you want to order books, and we will see what we can do about the ebooks, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. And thank you for spending this time with us and sharing your words.